Autophagy is the cell's secret superhero squad, a microscopic janitorial and recycling team that sweeps through your cytoplasm, dismantling damaged mitochondria, misfolded proteins, and other cellular debris, transforming them into reusable building blocks. It's the kind of operation that would make Marie Kondo and a factory manager proud simultaneously. But here's where breakfast complicates the story. Autophagy is naturally activated during fasting, but the moment you eat, insulin surges, and TOR pathways light up, and the janitors reluctantly hang up their brooms. Suddenly, the very meal meant to fuel your day pauses the deep cleaning session, leaving mitochondria cheering for glucose while lysosomes mutter under their tiny breaths. Seriously? Now. The paradox becomes even more interesting when you consider what's on your plate. Not all breakfasts affect autophagy equally. High-sugar, high-carb breakfasts, like a stack of pancakes drenched in syrup or a bowl of sugary cereal, spike insulin dramatically, sending a strong signal to mTOR that nutrients are abundant and that autophagy can take a back seat. It's as if the janitors are shoved out of the room by a parade of syrupy glucose packets, leaving mitochondria and neurons dancing in a sugar-fueled conga line. On the other hand, higher protein, lower carb breakfasts, think eggs, Greek yogurt, or a small omelet with vegetables, trigger a milder insulin response. These meals still provide energy and amino acids for muscles and the brain, but the signal to halt autophagy is weaker. In other words, the cleaning crew isn't entirely dismissed. They can continue tidying up while the breakfast party happens in a corner of the cell. This interplay is governed by the molecular pathways that regulate autophagy. mTOR senses nutrients, particularly amino acids and glucose, and when activated, it suppresses autophagy. Insulin, released in response to carbohydrates, amplifies mTOR activity, turning the janitorial lights off. YMPK, the energy sensor activated during fasting or low energy availability, encourages autophagy to continue, promoting recycling, fat mobilization, and mitochondrial repair. A low-insulin breakfast essentially allows autophagy to run on a low-speed mode, maintaining cellular repair while still supplying energy. High-sugar breakfasts, in contrast, are like a full-blown office party that completely distracts the janitors and temporarily halts their cleaning efforts. The humor in this situation is practically cartoonish. Imagine your lysosomes armed with tiny brooms, diligently cleaning the cytoplasm when breakfast arrives. A sugary cereal parachutes into the cell, confetti flying, neurons cheering with excitement, mitochondria high-fiving each other. Insulin bursts in with a neon vest. Attention! Nutrients detected. Cleaning postponed. Lysosomes sigh. Proteasomes roll their eyes, and AMPK, wearing a whistle, mutters, "I gave them a head start, and now it's a sugar explosion." Typical Monday morning. Meanwhile, a high-protein, low-carb breakfast rolls in politely, handing mitochondria just enough energy to get moving, while the janitors keep scrubbing with mild grumbling, keeping the cytoplasm in relatively pristine condition. It's a subtle but noticeable difference, like hosting a polite tea party versus a rock concert in the same office. From a scientific and practical perspective, this means breakfast composition can modulate the degree to which autophagy is inhibited. If your goal is to maintain as much morning autophagy as possible while still enjoying a meal, focusing on protein, healthy fats, and low glycemic carbs is ideal. This allows the body to receive necessary nutrients without triggering a massive insulin spike that completely pauses cellular cleaning. In contrast, high-sugar breakfasts favor immediate energy for cognitive and physical performance, but strongly suppress autophagy. It's a trade-off between optimizing short-term performance and preserving long-term cellular maintenance. In essence, the breakfast autophagy paradox gains a nuanced layer. It's not just eat or skip, but what do you eat? Your cells are capable of juggling priorities, but the type of fuel you provide makes a huge difference. Lysosomes, mitochondria, AMPK, and neurons may all be watching your breakfast choices, cheering or sighing accordingly. By choosing nutrient-dense, lower-carb breakfasts, you can let autophagy quietly continue its essential work while still enjoying the pleasures of morning fuel, a compromise that keeps both your microscopic janitors and your energetic brain reasonably happy. Ultimately, breakfast composition adds a fascinating and funny twist to the autophagy paradox. High-sugar meals are like an overexcited party that fully distracts your cellular janitors, whereas protein-rich, Lower-carb meals are like a polite gathering that lets the cleanup crew keep working while still feeding the cell's energy-hungry occupants. Your body, in its evolutionary wisdom, can accommodate both, balancing short-term energy needs with long-term cellular maintenance, all while performing a little morning comedy behind the scenes. The takeaway is that with a thoughtful breakfast, you can keep autophagy relatively active, fuel your day, and let your cells perform their janitorial duties with minimal interruption, sometimes even with a smile on their molecular faces.